Yo, Debbie Larson is in the house. What's going on, fam? Jean's here. Pansy's here. What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing? Carlin is here.
Jesse's here.
I made it. The show must go on. Alan, what's going on, baby? How's everybody doing? Welcome. Another beautiful day. It is Friday. It's Carlin's second favorite F word, Friday. Welcome, guys. Thank growth. It's Friday. TGIF.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Dude, look at these fishing boots that my wife got me for my birthday.
Those things are sick.
They're called extra stuffs. It's not a stylish thing. I would never wear these in public, but they are great slip resistance and water resistant fishing boots. So, yeah, it's been great.
I'm going to agree with the small human on the side of you. I think they're pretty sweet.
Thanks, babe.
Oh.
Thanks. I feel older. I feel smarter. Do you guys want to see something cool? Let me show you guys. Carlin got this for me for my birthday. A sign of a good leader is not how many followers you have, but how many leaders you create. How stinking awesome is that? I agree. You know what, Carlin? You know, one of the things that you and I really share a deep passion about is leadership. And one of my favorite quotes, and you'll have to help me remember it, but it's something to the tune of, a candle doesn't lose its light by lighting another candle.
That is true. When you light a candle, you just light more fires. New Mexico is really good at that analogy.
I just really love that. I love that analogy, especially in the realm of leadership, because I think there's a lot of people that hold things back. They're not as giving. They're not as forthcoming because they're afraid that, you know, like they're going to lose kind of like their limelight or their flame by helping people. Like, they put themselves in a position when they're in a position of leadership. They don't want to give as much. They don't want to create or light other candles, because in their head, it means that their candle is going to be dimmer, which is not the case at all. And I just, I really appreciated you sending this to me. So thank you. This was really, really awesome.
Happy belated birthday, buddy. Thank you for being
awesome.
My mentor and my bestie.
Thank you. Thank you guys for being here. Where did I see that? Somebody asked me. Oh, Debbie asked, I must not wade very deep. So these are great, like when you're just fishing from the shore. We do a lot of fishing from the shore up here in Alaska, or if you're fishing on a boat. So that's why those boots are really, really good. I've got boots that go up way higher up on my leg. You know, kind of, you know what? I'm not going to go there. Oh, you know, maybe I will go there. Should I go there, Carlin, or no? Should we save that?
I don't know.
I just had this thought. You know how like everyone's kind of got this idea of well, how do I say this? I don't mind my wife being in lingerie. Got these big knee-high boots, you know. The equivalent of that for an Alaskan is me coming in with you know, these boots on. Like that's how we get down in Alaska.
I was under the impression it was the Borat lime green G-string.
Well, that's what it is with my fishing boots on.
Oh, okay.
The Borat swimsuit, the V swimsuit with some Alaskan extra tough rubber fishing boots. So yeah, you guys get to see a little bit of what it's like to be an Alaskan, because we don't have a lot of that stuff. Remember, I used to live up here in Alaska. There was a time when we didn't have a Victoria's Secret. We had to get creative. Thank goodness it's Friday. Thank you guys for being here. We like to have fun on these podcasts. I hope you guys are enjoying us. I hope you guys are having a great day. thank you guys again for being here. Like to have fun. Hope you guys are feeling the love. Hope you guys are feeling the energy. Carlin, before we get into this, what announcements we got going on for the day? Besides bathing
what?
suit choices and my fishing boots.
Those are some pretty good announcements. I think we
great announcements.
Really hit the nail on the head right there.
Everybody should know.
What everybody should know, actually, is that we do have book club tonight. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard for those of you who live in the Southwest, the whole 300 of us. So book club is tonight. We're reading The Compound Effect. It was actually recommended by Sean Clark.
Sean Clark? Wait, Sean Clark? Sean Clark?
Sean Clark.
Sean Clark!
Sean Clark! Yeah. The Compound Effect is actually recommended by Sean Clark. And so we've really been enjoying this book. We're actually going to be having our first open discussion about it tonight. So if you have not read it, go get the Audible and start zooming through so you have some sort of conversation. You can really bring in your force, your power. Haley and I usually have a real good time in book club. There's always some fabulous people in there. So it's also a really good place to meet some other people that are working on setting those similar goals and priorities as yourself. There's never, ever a bad time to get around readers because, as dear mentor, bestie Jesse over here says, readers are leaders.
That's it. So make sure you guys are at book club tonight. That is at, what time did you say that was?
7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. Eastern. Awesome. Make sure you guys are there. And they don't have to have read the book or anything to come in to participate, right? Like, just want to make sure that everybody knows, like, we don't discriminate. Like, if you haven't read the book, get in here and just hang out, catch up on the conversation, learn.
No discrimination, but it definitely is a whole lot more fun, even if you've read like 4 pages. You can still get a whole lot out of just 4 pages. Actually, interestingly enough, Jesse and I are doing a thing called the 5 Daily Non-Negotiables. And in that, all you do is 10 pages of reading. That's it. 10 pages of reading a day. And if you want to make The Compound Effect that book that you read with us, and those are your 10 pages, hop on that train. Because it is so much fun being in book club, and it is so much fun having an open dialogue about things that are going to propel us forward.
Dude, that's awesome. I love that. The 5 daily non-negotiables, they have completely changed my life. They transform my relationships. I have created opportunities that otherwise wouldn't have happened just from a byproduct of doing these 5 things that I refuse to negotiate with myself on. And for everybody who doesn't know what that is, number 1, reviewing your goals 2 to 3 times a day. I can't overstate how important that is. Like, you know, all these people that are doing 7, 8, and 9 figures, like little simple things like this. This is where the growth comes in. This is where the consistency comes in. This is where the shift in mindset and intention and action come in, just by having clarity and being able to see 2 to 3 times a day is what I'm doing in line with what I'm looking at 2 to 3 times a day. So it's such a great reminder to generate focus and consistency, and really understanding, you know, is what I'm doing throughout the day actually getting me closer to my goals. And so there's little things that we do that can really help make the biggest differences. Reviewing your goals 2 to 3 times a day is a must be a non-negotiable. Number 2, going and exercising 45 minutes a day, 7 days a week. The entire point, just to break a sweat. When you exhaust the body, you tame the mind. When you exhaust the body, you tame the mind. Number 3, reading 10 pages of a book every single day. Nonfiction book. As Carlin said, leaders are readers. Number 4, post 3 times a day on social media. You can't do business with people who don't know that you do business. Start building relationships, which leads me to number 5, creating opportunities. Create opportunities with 5 new people every single day. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is your 5 daily non-negotiables. Myself, Carlin, our team does it. Our clients are doing it. Makes the biggest differences when you can operate with intentionality and have clarity on what it is you're trying to do. You'll see these opportunities all around you. that you just missed before because you weren't taking enough action and you weren't being clear enough. So if you guys want to implement those, definitely implement those. We have our last actually live cohort coming up this month. That's right. In August, we're starting our last live cohort. If you guys want to know more about our mentorship, more about our program, shoot Carlin or I a DM. You can hit up Haley. The final cohort. So what we've been doing, we've been keeping these cohorts around 20 people. And we do that because we are very focused on creating results. That's the entire point. I think that's why people get into real estate. That's why people pay for a coach or pay for a mentor, so that they see results. One thing that I've learned as a coach, Carlin, is it's not information that people are lacking, which when you join other programs, like that's a lot of what you're getting is like information. But I think what we're doing stands out, and why the experience from our clients is so vast from anything else they've experienced is because what we're not teaching is not information. Information is everywhere. Ever heard of the internet? Ever heard of the YouTubes? You can find anything and everything you need on the interwebs. It's not from a lack of information that people are remaining on this hamster wheel or not making progress. It's from a lack of implementation. They don't know how to implement these things. And that's what we go over. And we had a really interesting conversation in our class last night in our cohort as we're kind of finishing up. It was just the neatest thing to see and experience, especially from a coach's perspective. The camaraderie and the love and the growth. My God, the growth. Absolutely insane. Be able to look and see what everybody's done and what they've accomplished, and understanding where they are and knowing where they're going to go. It's been the coolest thing. And so I just wanted to share that. And we have our last live cohort coming up this month before the Growth Co will forever change. So if you guys want in on this experience, definitely shoot myself or Carlin or Haley a text. Happy to get you guys some more information. And then finally, for those of you guys that don't know Zach Bush, he's also one of our clients. He's part of the Growth Co fam. He does underwriting every single Friday immediately following this podcast at 3 p.m. Eastern time. If you guys got properties that you're working on, if you guys need some clarity on, the underwriting, the numbers, running comps, whatever it is, he is your man. Make sure you guys put it on your calendar and get with him. He will help you out. He's a wealth of knowledge and just an amazing resource, and even a better friend. So if you guys need somebody like that in your corner, don't hesitate. Please make sure you guys are getting in there. Let me just wrap this whole introduction up real quick and just say, one of the things that I have found that has created the biggest difference in my life is being around other people. Being around other higher caliber people. Because as I have gone through the trenches, I have also learned what works and what doesn't work and who I need to be working with. And I've had different accountability groups and all this and that. The thing that has made the biggest differences in my income has just been a shift in the caliber of people that I surround myself with. Your network, your network is your net worth. And I want you guys to write this down. Nothing will affect your business more than the quality of your relationships. So if you're not around people that are of higher caliber, this is your chance. Come to book club tonight. Go jump on Zach Bush's podcast. Go ask questions. Go be involved. Go build relationships. Go be intentional. That's all I've got. Carlin, anything else that I missed or anything else that you would like to add?
Nope. I think we smacked it on the announcements.
I think so too. Today is kind of an interesting topic. And one that I certainly don't think it's talked about enough, but how to stop people pleasing and setting boundaries.
This one hits home for me.
When I was growing up, Carlin, I used to be that person, and well into my adulthood as well. I hated to see anybody disappointed. You've heard this story before. Growing up, my mom used to call me a social butterfly. I was friends with everybody. I didn't have a clique. Like, I would go shop at Hot Topic and I'd wear the Slayer t-shirts along with the guy. I didn't ever wear the black pants with the chains, but I hung out with those guys. But then I was in sports, and I was a jock, and I was playing football and basketball, and then I played the tuba, and I was hanging out with like all the band geeks.
You played a tuba?
I played a tuba and a sousaphone.
What?
Yeah.
Why didn't how?
Because now I'm a rock star. Now I play guitar. But I hung out with like all the band geeks, right? So I literally was around just everybody. I didn't fit into a clique. I literally was friends with everybody. And it was really interesting that as I grew up and as I started getting into, adulthood and joined the military, and I started to notice that, man, I hated to disappoint anybody. And when I look back on my childhood, a lot of these things, like, it's really important to understand that a lot of this stuff like stems from our childhood. And for me, like, because I was friends with everybody, I loved doing it, but I also overexerted myself and carried a lot of weight of other people because I never wanted to disappoint people. And as a consequence, well into my adulthood, I always said yes. Anytime anybody ever needed anything, regardless of what was going on in my life, like I was like, yep, I will do it. Carlin, I know you're such a loving individual, and we and you share those same qualities.
Dude, yeah, growing up is same thing. I played rugby growing up. I was not musically inclined in terms of instruments, but I was actually in choir. I hung out at the smokers corner, even though I didn't smoke. That's where all of my emo goth friends were. Like, yeah. I wasn't confined to one stereotype. I was a drifter, essentially. Like, I could show up in any group and disappear just as quickly. And it was the nature of how I was. But one thing that remained common is everybody in those groups knew that they could come to me and ask me, like, hey, I need a ride here, or I need to do this. And I think it took me probably 2 years to even get up the courage to be like, hey, yeah, I can give you a gas ride. Or I can give you a car ride. Do you have gas money? Like, that was an uncomfortable conversation for me. Like, here I am going out on a limb to help someone else. And it was uncomfortable for me to be like, hey, but in return, I need you to contribute something so I can make this possible. Like, those kinds of conversations, I just never wanted to disappoint anyone. And to this day, still, I still don't like disappointing people. Like, I mean, you've seen me have full-blown meltdowns because I'm like, I just don't want to upset people. I don't want to hurt the people I care about. But that kind of ties back into setting the boundaries, because when you don't set proper expectations, you're more likely to hurt someone. Like, I would rather just tell someone no. And I'm not going to lie, I still struggle with this. I would rather still just tell someone no and then be upset for maybe a little bit than leading on and misconstruing a situation to the point where it just snowballs and it gets bigger. And that's a really, really hard thing to do.
I 100% agree it is. There's a lot of times, like, we're just, I guarantee a lot of people in here watching this with us right now, and people that will be watching this in the future, I guarantee a lot of you guys are probably pretty similar. I mean, right? I mean, otherwise you wouldn't be here. They say your vibe attracts your tribe. So I assume there's a lot of similarities and things that values and things that we believe and have experienced collectively. And I just hated letting people down. I maybe this is like an oldest child thing, I don't know, but man, I took on so much as the oldest child. I never wanted to disappoint my parents. And maybe a lot of that stems from that release or experience you get when your parents say, "Hey, I'm proud of you." Or they applaud you because the house was clean, or whatever it is. And so you constantly want that attention and affection, and you know that when this is done, then you'll get it. And I carried a lot of that as the oldest child. I carried a lot of weight, and it's just really interesting how that played into my adulthood. And then, my gosh, when you're an entrepreneur, you carry that even more so. And so one of the things I have found extremely beneficial is being able to acknowledge that and understand, first and foremost, why I was the way I was, or why I carried that weight, why I said yes to everybody, so that I could start to understand where and how I needed to set boundaries. And like you said, you help more people, contrary to popular belief. For a lot of people, you cripple them by wanting to save everybody. You don't give them the opportunity to learn or to grow or to figure things out for themselves, because you put them in that position where they always will cling to you or take your energy or neglect themselves because they just getting everything from you. Do you have a similar experience?
Yeah, 100%. And it's not just someone being dependent on you. You're also putting yourself in the position where you're spreading yourself too thin. And I personally am very much a culprit of that. And it's something that I have to actually go back and do a lot of time audits on. Be like, oh, you know what? I'm really not prioritizing this. I'm really putting too much focus on this. And this isn't actually in alignment with my goals. So I'm putting energy into something that I'm not putting my full energy into, which in turn is crippling the person that I'm helping. And then I'm crippling myself because now I've put myself so thin across this plate that I've completely emotionally, physically, and mentally drained myself. Like I just have nothing left to give. So I'm hurting the people that I'm supposed to be helping, that I've set commitments to. I'm hurting the people that I have set smaller commitments to. I'm hurting the people that have these expectations that I wasn't clear about. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of this big ball of yarn all knotted up. And you really don't know which way to pull the ball to actually untangle everything. And it's tiring and exhausting and it's hard. And you're just hurting yourself and people in the line of your crossfire, basically, when you're not setting these expectations and creating the boundaries that you rightfully deserve to create.
You know what's really interesting is I especially started feeling a lot of the heat. Probably one of the biggest times that it ever had the biggest impact on me was when right after I got married.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Because it was...
Let us know in the comments. Does anybody else resonate with that statement? Before I even give any more context, does anybody else resonate with that statement? Okay, go ahead, Carlin. I want to hear.
I'm curious about your perspective too. When James and I got married, I just married my best friend. Like at that point, I was like, oh, this is the person that I need. And I will prioritize him forever. Like that is... my family will always be my top priority. No. But then there were these situations where I had these friends that like, I kind of wanted to keep the relationship for the sake of the fact that, we had a relationship and it had been going on for like 10 years and, we're friends and I owe them everything because we've been friends for such a long time. And this guy just showed up and blah, blah, blah. But from my perspective, when I got married, I tried to hold on to a lot of things that I really should not have tried to hold on to. Like that's my take. That was what my chuckle was for, because I was trying so hard to maintain relationships that really weren't serving a purpose for myself, my growth, my newly developed family. Like it was more draining just trying to keep up with that than it was beneficial. And James honestly had to take on a lot of the repercussion of that because he's the one that just got married to the emotional wreck for trying to keep all of these things in place.
Interesting. So you just had to maintain, like it was like there was boundaries that needed to be set between family, your old friends. Maybe people felt like they were replaced.
Yeah. That's
Consistently
exactly
asking you
it.
for favors as if you don't have any other prior commitments to anything or anybody else. Interesting. See, that's different than what I was thinking. So I'd be curious. Like I saw Sean and Cindy put yes in the chat here. You know, for me, Carlin, it was setting boundaries around my mom. And I love my mom. Love my mom. But that was the hard part. And I don't know if this is true more so for guys than it is for girls. I don't know. I haven't experienced that yet. My daughters are 7 and 3, so maybe I'll find out, you know, in another decade or so. But
Hopefully it's more than a decade.
hopefully it's a couple decades. Maybe 3 or 4 would be preferential. But I don't know if this is true more so for guys than girls, but man, growing up and being like my mom's BFF and then getting married and like, you know, clinging on to my wife, like that now is my priority, you know, setting boundaries around that. And well, actually, I guess I could speak on behalf of girls too, to an extent, because there was kind of like that same thing happened with my wife. My wife and her mom are BFFs, still are BFFs. Yep. And her sisters, they all grew up really, really close. And so for me, I can say one of the best things that happened for me with regard to setting boundaries between myself and my family and her family just so happened to become something that was just natural because I was in the military. I joined the military when I was 18 years old. I got married right before I turned 20. And as soon as we got married, like we were married, and then where you are right now in Alamogordo, New Mexico, that's where I was. Alex and I got married, drove down to Alamogordo. We were there for about 3 months married. And then we moved immediately up to Alaska. So we were, 2,500 miles away from our nearest family member, and having that separation, especially during the first year or two of our marriage, was phenomenal. It allowed her and I the ability to learn how to communicate with each other, learn how to set boundaries and expectations. And, I didn't have my in-laws or my family, just dropping in whenever they wanted. So it was really kind of interesting how that whole thing happened. Otherwise, I would have been like, yeah, guys, come on over. I would have had friends and just been like, guys, yeah, come on over, because I want to please everybody.
Yeah, I am personally an open door person. Like, I love having people here. It makes me happy. But one thing that I've established with honestly anyone that comes through my door is, you are welcome here. I will feed you. I will put you up on my couch. I will put you in my bed. I'll sleep on the couch if I have to. I like sleeping on the couch. But I will not readjust my schedule because someone's here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that my family knows. That's something James' family knows. That's something, Pansy came and visited, and that was sweet. She just hung out on my couch for a little bit when time opened up. We went out and gallivanted around town.
You gallivanted around the ghetto.
Yeah, no, we actually went to White Sands. It was great. It was
nice.
Hot as crap that day, though. So we sat under a pile of sand that had a bush and just watched our kids be reckless. But it's something that I figured out very quickly. And again, it goes back to the military thing. Like, you kind of have to learn how to set those boundaries. Like, there's not much of a choice. Mm-hmm. So having that situation in place, it really pushed me to be like, hey, you are more than welcome to come visit. I do have to do this at this time, and I do have to do this at this time, and I have commitments at this time. I'm perfectly flexible. We can go out to dinner, we can go play in some dirt, whatever you want, as long as it's not going to interfere with my schedule. And I mean that in the nicest way possible, because in order to be able to maintain the lifestyle that I enjoy living, I have to know what my priorities are, and I have to know where my boundaries need to be set. I cannot take my kids on vacation. I can't go visit family. I can't, if I want to go visit family and that's something I want to shut work down for a week, that means my priorities have to have their boundaries set around them up until that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those things that, like, it takes a lot of work to be able to recognize those kinds of habits and those patterns. And it's something that I personally work on every single day. And it's not easy, but it is very helpful knowing how to do that.
I agree. So let's kind of recap a little bit here. If you guys didn't catch us, there's 3 things that you guys can do today to stop people pleasing and start setting boundaries. Start prioritizing yourself. Put your oxygen mask on. You have an obligation to put your effing oxygen mask on so that you can turn around and then be in a position to help others. So if you guys missed that, number 1, write these things down. Number 1, start saying no to more things. Number 2, start setting boundaries and protect your time. Now, number 3, this kind of goes into one of my favorites and one of the things that and actually an exercise we did as a bonus Zoom this week with our clients. Finding ways to build your confidence. Carly, we did some pretty cool exercises on Monday with our clients. And one of those things was, what's cool about you?
Oh, dude, I got that in my notebook right to the left of me. I actually took a picture of it and put it on Instagram.
Dude, I love that. It's really easy to feel like you're lacking confidence if you don't have the result that you're after yet, or you don't have the experience or the proof of concepts that you're after yet. In my experience, it doesn't matter what level you're at, you're always going to feel behind. Welcome to entrepreneurship. There at no point as an entrepreneur are you ever going to hit a level and you're going to think, oh yeah, you know what? I'm exactly where I should be. It's not going to happen like that. You are always going to feel like you're behind. You're always going to feel like you're never doing enough. You're always going to feel like now that you've hit this new thing, now it's the next thing. And you never take the time to celebrate because you don't have any time to celebrate. Like, we just got to get to the next thing. And it's easy to, when those are the only things that you focus on, it's easy to have your confidence robbed of you. But confidence is everything. When you lose your confidence, it literally affects every aspect of your life. When you don't have confidence, I mean, even right down to making a post on social media that could either connect and create an opportunity with somebody else or inspire somebody else. That energy is felt through social media, or even lack thereof, or when you hop on a Zoom. When you feel like you're lacking, when you feel like you don't have the confidence, welcome to entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is hard, and it's lonely, and it's difficult. Actually, you know what? As a matter of fact, put it in the chat right now, guys. Put it in the chat. And then, Elena said, Elena was there. Elena said, I loved this exercise. We all tend to underestimate ourselves. Well said, Elena. I want you guys, in one word, everybody in the chat right now, in one word, describe the word winning. In one word, I want everybody to describe the word winning. What does that word mean to you guys? When you guys think of winning, how would you sum up everything that you think you know and understand about winning? In one word, what does that mean to you? When you think of people that are winners, in one word, how would you describe them? Ooh, that's interesting. Sean Clark
Sean
said
Clark.
freedom. Elena also says freedom. Debbie says success. Alan says liberty. Interesting. Very good. Haley says peace. I feel like I resonate with that one so hard. Peace. Allison says leaders. Jim says progress. Mindy's here. Love Mindy. Mindy says freedom. Pansy says, I can't pick one word. Jean says control. Ooh, that's so good. Said by a true controller, she says. That's hilarious. Do you guys want to know what winning? These are all really, really great answers. Really great answers. Thank you for putting these in here. Trixie's here. Welcome, Trixie. Trixie says control. Another great one. It is hard to use one word. I would agree. Over the years, I have changed my definition of what winning is. There once was a time I would have used exactly all the words you guys described. And by the way, there's no wrong answer here. I'm not criticizing or anything like that. Like this is all, that's exactly in my eyes what I thought winning was as well. But then as I started to grow my business, as I started to get more intentional, as I started to get around other people, as I started to really see a progress, and I got to see all the sweat and the blood and the tears and like just the anxiety and maybe a little bit of depression of trying to win. As I started to go through that myself, my definition in one word of what winning means has changed drastically. Now I look at winning as something that is dirty and it's hard. It is aggravating. It is ruthless. It will kick you in the teeth and then continue kicking you while it's down, while you're down. And when you start experiencing those feelings, it's really easy to focus on all the things you think you should be doing. It's easy to focus and or like have thoughts of like you're not doing enough or you're not worthy or why did you think you could do this? When in reality, here's what's really interesting, guys. In reality, those words that I used to describe winning just now, tired, unforgiving, relentless. Those words is actually what winning is. That's what winning. Winning is everything. And as you guys are going through those and obtaining those experiences, as you're cultivating those experiences, if you're feeling like that, if you're feeling like you are down, just know that that's exactly what winning freaking looks like. If you're feeling like that, it's because you're winning. Just know that. This is so important for everybody to understand. Now, the reason I kind of give this context here is because if you don't understand that that's what winning is, it is going to diminish your confidence in being able to move forward. If you don't understand that that's what winning is, that's okay. It's just because you're not used to winning yet. And that's okay. But if you're experiencing that, then just know that that's what winning is. And when you feel those things, if you don't acknowledge that that's what winning is, then your confidence will be diminished. Now, when it comes to stopping pleasing and setting boundaries, these 3 things that we got done talking about, saying no, setting boundaries, and then number 3, finding ways to build confidence. I want you to understand when you're feeling those feelings in general, that's what winning is. That's what winning feels like. That's what winning looks like. And the way that we build that confidence, we did an exercise with everybody. And it was called What's Cool About You? Now, Carlin she made a post about it. The things that she had written down was awesome. But Carlin, from your perspective, would you share for everybody, what is the purpose of doing that exercise? And what was the exercise?
It's a lot of self-reflection, because a lot of the times when we're stuck in this race, when we're trying to get to the next level, it's like you said, it's really hard to just beat the crap out of yourself. Like, oh, you know what? I saw Jesse, bought another property and I haven't bought my property, and I'm supposed to close on this, and he's already, like, it's very easy to start comparing yourself to where someone else is. And the path that you're on, that's the path that they took. It's kind of like hiking with someone. Like, Jesse, I'm hiking behind you. I'm just following in your footsteps. You know where the path is, so that's what I'm going to do. But it's really easy to be like, oh, you know what? I'm on this side and he's way over there, and his trail looks so much easier, and I'm over here crawling through sticks and bushes and shit. But a lot of the times, even when you're crawling through sticks and bushes, there's still very beautiful things about that. And we don't really take the time to stop and look around and see things. Like, so the What's Cool About Me exercise that we did, I really enjoyed that, because I haven't personally self-reflected like that as much as I should have in a long time. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm actually a really good rugby player. Like, I haven't thought about that in like 10 years. Like, I could go out and kick some serious ass. Or I can talk to anyone. If you're in the supermarket, you better enjoy talking to people, because I will find you and we will have a conversation. And so being able to see these kinds of things from different angles, like, those are skills, those are talents. That's what makes you unique. That's what makes you capable. And I think it's just important to recognize that when we're beating the crap out of ourselves, we're neglecting all of the things that make us who we are as an individual, which will in turn lead us to what our personal success looks like. So something that I was kind of thinking about when we were dropping all these words, freedom, leader, liberty, peace, success, everyone wants all of those. The difference is everyone's going to have a different definition of what each one of those words looks like. And so when you're sitting there reflecting, like, maybe you want 6 properties, maybe you don't want 150 doors, maybe you just want a nice amount that feels comfortable for you. That's great. But what are you doing to put yourself in the right frame of reference to be able to get to that point? Because if someone's goal is 150 doors and your goal is 6, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to the 150 door person. They're on a completely different walking path than you are. And having the opportunity to go through this exercise, Jesse, by the way, thank you for leading this exercise. It was really nice to be able to sit down and be like, hey, I've done a lot of really cool things. I've done a lot of things that other people, I don't know if you know this, Jesse, I played the first ever under 19 international rugby game. We went to Ireland. Our rugby team flew to Ireland. When I was in 8th grade, we went to a completely different country and played a country that is notoriously known for their ability to play this sport. Beat them by 2 points. Not very many people can say that. That's a unique experience. That's something I'm proud of. That's something I'm confident about. And a flanker and a prop. I was never a good flanker. Sorry. Dick Nicholas. Yeah. I was the fullback. But it's something that, thinking back and reflecting on those, it makes you light up. It creates this experience where you're like, oh yeah, I was really good at that. Wow, that's really neat. I wonder how I could utilize that. I wonder how I just created a whole relationship with Dick. He and I are going to have a great conversation later now. Like, share what you're confident about, share what you're proud about, because that's going to transpire into your ability to create your confidence. And when you are confident about yourself and when you're confident about what you're trying to achieve in life, it's a whole lot easier to say no to something. Like, if Dick walked up to me and was like, hey, we're going to play this rugby game. Do you want to be a prop? I'd be like, nope. I'll be a fullback, though. Like, I'm not equipped for that position. I'm not going to play a position I'm not good at.
So when you're feeling like you lack confidence, you've got your rugby on that, which is cool. This is super, super dope. I know you played rugby, but that you guys went over there and played. Did you say who'd you say it was?
Ireland.
Yeah. That's insane, man. And beat them by 2 points. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That is really cool. What else do you have on that list?
Oh my gosh.
Now you had like 20 things that you did from this list. Now for you guys that didn't, for those of you guys that didn't catch it, this is a list that is called What's Cool About You. And I want you to think about literally all the things that are cool about you. Carlin, do you mind listing off some of those things that are cool about you?
It's a big list. Not to flex or anything. I wrote a big list, though.
Yeah.
So the first thing I wrote was, I love helping people. It makes me happy to help someone I don't know. Personally, and this is something I don't really share with people often. I don't know why. Keston actually got on to me about it and said I need to start sharing this kind of stuff more. I love helping the homeless. I love it. It makes me so happy. And that's something I do very regularly. So I love helping people. I love helping people I don't know in particular. It feels more rewarding. A lot of the times I won't tell people who I am. I'll just do what I feel like I need to do and move on with my life. There's no reason to have a reoccurring relationship. It's just what I'm supposed to do. I am good at listening when somebody needs an ear. I'm very linguistically creative. I've found a new love for Canva. Me and Canva have a very good relationship now. I love laughing. I love getting to be a good friend to people. I'm good at taking care of things. I'm very good at taking care of things. But that's also in rotation. One of those things that I do need to set boundaries on is what I'm taking care of and how. I know a lot of really cool things about literally nothing in specific. Like, did you know bananas are actually berries?
I didn't know that.
Now you do.
So you put this list together, which is incredible. You know, I'd never done. I've always, well, not always, but in the last couple of years, I've gotten more and more intentional with journaling, and that's really helped out a lot. But doing this exercise, the first time I did this exercise, it was I felt honestly like this is I swear, man, like I felt a way about myself that I had never felt before. How many of us take the time to reflect and actually write down what are the things that is cool about you? Like legit. Like, are you, let me find mine. Might take me a minute to find some of the stuff I wrote down.
Aw, thanks, Haley. Oh, I didn't know that, Elena. Elena says watermelon is a berry as well.
Oh, what? I did not know that.
Huh. I'm going to have to go Google about that later. Crap.
I wrote down, I'm King Top Gun Dad. That's what my kids call me. King Top. As soon as I come home or come back from the gym or come out, like whatever, it's like King Top Gun Dad. Do we get ice cream tonight, King Top Gun Dad? Like that's I don't know where they came from. It's been my title for a few years now. So I wrote, I'm King Top Gun Dad. I am an awesome parent. I am a really good friend. I have the most supportive spouse. I am an amazing guitar player. I can be friends with anyone. I have amazing partners and team members. I have people that love me. I'm really great at public speaking. I wrote some other things down, but you know what? I've never written those types of things down before. And being able to actually write down the things that are cool about being Jesse is something that was really special. I'd never have, before doing that exercise, I'd never written down a list of things that were just really cool and unique to me. And being able to go through that list, Carlin, that exercise just absolutely worked. If you ever feel like you're having one of those days, guys, where you're just down in the pits, things aren't going your way, you feel like you're not winning, first and foremost, know that that's what winning looks like. And if you guys are really up for the challenge, I invite you to do that exercise. Write down 20 things that are cool about you and go through that list and really think about it and give yourself credit. That will build your confidence. What a great exercise to build your confidence. So 3 things today, guys, for how to stop people pleasing and setting your boundaries. Say no to more things. Set boundaries around your time. Number 3, find ways to be more confident, exude confidence. Those are our 3 things. Carlin, anything else to add before we part ways? Oh, you're on mute.
Muted. Darn it. So if you feel inclined, I'd love to see your list. If you guys are struggling, reach out to me and I can tell you 20 things that are awesome about you.
Love that. If you guys are up for the challenge, put your guys' list together. Come up with 20 things that are cool about you. Take a picture of it and tag Carlin and I in it. I would love to see your list. I would love to converse with you about it. If you guys are up for it, go ahead and put that list together. Tag Carlin and I in it. You'd be surprised at what you'll find. Appreciate you all. Love you guys. For everybody who is a Growth Co client, we have open office hours starting now. So I will see you guys in there. Hope everybody has a wonderful and productive weekend. We'll talk with you guys next week.